This video is sponsored by My Metal Cards at Etsy.com. So yes, this is a new upcoming shop which specializes in selling like a lot of metal cards, so hence the name. So it ranges and specializes in like a lot of games such as Conflict Vanguard, MTG and Warhammer. So in this case, if you see here for Vanguard, they have energy counters for every nation. There's also like treasure tokens for MTG. There's also like plenty other designs for Vanguard, such as like fated ones. There's also like nation ones, and also it comes with acrylic ones. It's more transparent acrylic ones, so that's pretty cool. If you want to get one of these, that's also nice. And also there's plenty of other designs which are not in this shop, but you can custom pre-order them. You can like order them customly, such as like my Chronojet black and white energy counter, which is like 0 to 10. There's also like black and white like nation cards such as like Brungate, which I have over here, and also like they have like IoT energy like energy markers, energy counters, which I have like all three, like bronze, silver, gold respectively. So that's about it. And also, if you go to this shop and have the code coupon code Enochsays, 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 you get $5 off for your first purchase of one of these metal cards as well. So Enochsays, ENOCHSAYS, for $5 off for your first purchase. And do check them out. There's plenty of designs, and you can use them to spicify your decks, make it bling, make it fancy. Do keep in mind that since these are custom-made energy markers or whatsoever, counters or whatsoever, you cannot use them in like official Bushiroad tournaments. But you can use them as a form of like collection or whatsoever. And there you go. Just pick one of these up, and hopefully you like them. I like it personally, so do give them the support, and that's about it. I'll see you in the next video. Mr. Daniel over here, who is the top 16 for WGP Season 4 recently, about 2 weeks ago, I guess. I think it's close to 2 weeks already, right? So he is the undisputed champ of the Audium, the one with the Liael Odium that went 9-0. So of course, Daniel, how do you do you remember your matchups in say the Swiss rounds? So you're playing in Block A, right?
Yeah, I was playing
Block A or Block B? Block A, right? Okay, yeah. So 9 Swiss rounds. So do you remember what you fought first, or if you still can remember that?
I remember what I fought. The order's a bit rough. I think the first round I fought was a Prism matchup with Labrador.
Okay.
And then second round, what was it again? It wasn't a meta. I think I can check right.
Yeah. You can do check, right? So you've been bringing Audium so far, and what was your particularly very funniest highlights, I would say, of the games that you've remembered so far?
The funniest highlight would definitely be when I fought another top player, Junhao, who used the Chronojet.
Okay, right.
And when he rushed me on turn 3, and I got two Distorted Banes into the damage in the first 2 damage.
Oof, okay. Oof, that's rough. That's rough.
Another one was when
But you still win that round.
I still won that fight.
How do you do that?
No, I was pretty lucky with the heals.
Okay, alright. So you heal down
I healed down and
okay.
I managed to get all my remaining Distorted Banes.
Okay, managed to. Okay, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, so the first round I fought a Prism Labrador. Second round followed by a Vaga. Then third round was a Levidras. Fourth round also another Levidras.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Then round 5 was against the top player Luat.
Okay.
And then round 6 was a Rezael. Then I fought the Junhao Chronojet.
Okay.
And I fought followed by Madu against Levidras. And finally another Rezael.
Okay, right, very cool. Okay, so since that you are probably the Audium player and probably in the top tables and nobody else other Audium, so can you run us through about what's your deck list like, so that some people is probably very curious?
Sure, I can run through my deck list.
Let's start with the right line. I don't think the right line is that much different.
The right line is no different. It's your pretty standard right line. you're playing this. I mean, I forgot the grade 1 right line. You don't need the grade 0 to be the same. It doesn't have to be this grade 0, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be.
I prefer the consistency with the same. If you came out the side, just play it.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay,
and the right line is not the average, the same. I think the same can be said for your grade 3s as well, where I am running, of course, 3 personas, followed by 4
Anachronus and also 4 Distorted Banes. Yeah.
And of course, the key component is you need a Distorted Bane.
Yeah, indeed.
Then you move on to the grade 2s. I am running 1 copy of Union Sky, followed by 2 copies of Orions.
Okay.
I don't see this much, but I'm running 3 copies of Ammi Dithana, 3 copies of the Booster Colossus, and 3 copies of this card.
Okay, yeah.
So originally I used to play 3 of each card.
Okay.
But I realized that I don't utilize Orion as much, which is why I initially dropped it down to 2 and then pushed this to 4. But from what other lists I've seen that they use Blitz orders like twin cards. But since I didn't have twin cards, I decided to just play Union Sky since it is essentially similar to what I use this card for. And
okay, so that was the reason, because you don't have the twin card, so that's why you're playing Union
Sky. But it did come in handy, especially against Malaysia, it came in clutch.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because it allows you to draw 1 and whatnot, right?
Not only draw 1, it was a big shield value.
Yeah, 25k.
Because it was after I did Persona.
Ah, right. So you can just directly bind your Persona after that. Okay.
And to explain Ammi Dithana well, essentially, since I don't play Furia, I needed to fill a slot out. So I decided to try Ammi Dithana out, and essentially it's been really good for me. I would say it's quite underrated what the card does. And although this is quite a common card, I initially didn't plan on running it, but because of how people used to play Furia with 4 Resortis, I assumed I might as well just use this then as another option as Furia, since it essentially gives me a soul and a draw.
Yeah, sure. It's the same thing, yeah. So and also like the 10k booster kind of helps also.
Yes, exactly. So it helps me get my Vanguard to do magic numbers, especially on the Divine turn.
Do you retire as much? Because since you're using Tishkels and whatnot, do you like retire as much of Anachronus, or that has to really depend on the matchups and whatnot?
I think it depends on the matchup. But there are some matchups where I do want to use the retire ability, especially like against Levidras. Like I always want to make sure I retire their Foxio to prevent them from hitting their 5th attacker. So yeah, I think it does matter depending on what deck I fight, but sometimes I do use the retire quite often.
Ah, okay, right. So you have to be very aware of like your you have to be like very aware of your energy blast and whatnot, and all that stuff.
I would have to be, but again, because this only uses 2 energy, I would say it's very cheap to toss. But there are cases where I forget to use it.
Yeah, true. Moving on to your grade 1s, I guess.
Yeah. So grade 1s. I don't know how often people are playing this, but I play 3 copies of the Chimera to fill up the field, especially this comes in handy, especially against Vaga.
Yeah, true.
Because they are retiring my field often, so I get to get more cards out of the field. And of course, I'm playing 4 copies of
Avarice Resters.
Yep.
Confirm.
To get my order out. This actually helped me a lot, especially against...
It is a must-have lah, it's a form.
Against the Dream House match, and 2 this helped me out, get it out.
Yeah, okay.
And the free standard 1 element area.
Okay, 3 BGs, okay. Should have been a Audium, right?
I prefer this BG.
Okay,
because I play carry as well, so why not?
Okay, so moving on to your triggers.
Triggers? So, first of all, I will say the OT for last.
Okay, yeah.
So, I am running 3 draws. People can say fronts, which I have not tried out, but I see draws actually are quite good for me. Of course, I 4 heals. And I follow by
4 crits.
8 crits.
8 crits, okay.
And I play 1 Dark Side OT.
Is there a reason why you would prefer Dark States OT more
I
than...
do have the purple OT, and I understand the reason for the purple OT, because usually you would send 1 of your Regas to gauge. You swing 1 Rega first, so you can use the gauge. But I played the Dark States OT purely because I like the offensive power of it, and that it forces your opponent to really consider how you want to guard or whether they want to take the Vanguard.
I see.
And if like, my opponent knows that I'm playing the Dark States OT, it really makes them think about how they want to guard.
Yeah, but you said that like if you want to use fronts, like if like in the future will you see yourself running fronts, or like draw will still be a very good good option regardless, you know? Because like most of the people were saying that like if you play draws, you will have the higher tendency to deck out. So how do you like go around with that? Like is there like some games that where you were so close to like checking like almost to deck out? Is that like do you check triple draws and like does it really help? Because like the 10k shoot and the 20k shoot is makes a lot of difference, right? So what do you think? Like what's your
I mean, I won't lie, I've had scenarios where my deck is like 6 cards left and 3 of the draws are still in the deck.
Oof, yeah.
And I can deck out, but essentially I feel that the draw triggers are good because I have also come into scenarios where my hand is bad, but by damage checking a draw trigger, I essentially get to draw cards that might make my hand a bit better. And sometimes draw triggers do help me luck sack a bit in the sense that if I draw a card, my next check could be another trigger. So that's why I enjoy it. And because I'm triple driving the first time, when my opponent decides to 2-pass me and the first thing I check is the trigger, I will go all in my vanguard.
Yeah, okay. I see, alright. I also seen listed where people actually place Lemina. What do you think about that?
Lemina, honestly, for one, I can't really say because I don't have it.
Okay.
But from what I think that if I play Lemina, that is when I will start to have a bit of a soul issue. It's because Lemina, the right cost is the Soul Blast. That's one. But the thing is that when I use Distorted Bane, majority of the time, I don't actually use the Soul Charge.
Yes, they are correct.
Because I think my soul is just enough, which does not require the soul. So Lemina may make that cause a bit of difficulty for me because it lowers my soul, requiring me to soul charge, which potentially makes me soul charge a trigger.
It makes sense.
Or I have cases where I even soul charge other opponents, which I don't like that. And this guy is just nice to have because it's for guarding as well. I can just guard with it and this energy to get a draw, maybe it will help me out. And in some cases, this has actually come up where my Vanguard, because I want to divine, if next turn, if I persona on my first turn, and my next turn divine, my Vanguard's only going to be 30k base. If I don't even have the persona right, I still get to call this out and have a unit persona.
Yeah.
And if I do persona right, and I have no like grade 1 or anything else, or even like for example, this grade 2, I still just call it the back row to get a booster.
Yeah, makes sense, true. It is a very good booster regardless.
Yeah,
a 15k booster, yeah.
15k booster, and I know the next time it won't work, but at least for the first attack, it's comfortable.
So like, is CB an issue in this deck, personally?
CB, I would say, is not that much of an issue. It can be an issue if your opponent decides to damage deny you.
Yeah.
Where the game plan is that they want to deck you out. But that's when I need to manage my CB and learn how to control the field. In some essence, that means basically I could just call 2 units instead of calling 3 to force the gauge to go back so that my opponent has to force my opponent to attack to increase my damage. I would say that I don't need any counter charge. I am okay with where I am right now.
Okay, right. So let's say if when the opportunity arises, right, in the near future, is there anything in the deck that you wanted to change, right? Because my list is almost the same as you. But the thing is that I play twin casts in general. So consider this video as like also like yours and my deck profile, because I also play 2 Orions. I play twin casts. I play Lemina actually. I don't play T-Shelters in that stack. So if I energy, so that's why I will see like also have to depend on situations. If I am fighting decks that has a lot of graveyards, then of course prioritize retire as much as possible. Then if not, I have to EV7 draw 1. Other than that, I play like 3 fronts, and I think like that's about it. But I play the purple OT. I think the red OT or blue OT would still be fine regardless. Yeah. So like you went first almost every game, don't you? Or is there any games that you went second?
I have won in most cases during the Swiss rounds. I won my dice rolls, and in most scenarios I chose to go first. But when I was fighting strike decks, I preferred to go second just to stop them from getting the first strike.
Makes sense. So when that happens, right? Like say your game plan going second, because Audium is a very like going first reliant deck. So like, what's usually your game plan against like if you're going second?
Going second, my game plan is, of course, if possible, I will always want to have the discard hand to get the extra draw. But going second, I did not do it during the Swiss rounds But there are times where I choose to put this little gauge on my second turn, just so I can draw 3, so that my backup can get +10. And I proceed to also call out 2 of my Ammi Dithanas and making all the +5 go to one side, meaning that I have 2 units that are swinging for 20 and 1 for 10. That is just my way of rushing. This deck does not have much of a grade 1 rush, which I would say you could have maybe in the future. But I don't think that's a big of a problem. But no matter what, I feel going first or going second, I rush. But the only difference is if I go first, I don't play Distorted Bane into my gauge. Unless I have to, which I have no other card to put in.
Okay.
And that's like a very, very low scenario. Yeah.
That's the most roughest situation possible, in that sense. If let's say you're going first, would you still rush in? I mean, like you will rush, but like, would you still be like calling 2 Ammi Dithanas on the field or like?
If I have it in hand, then I will do it because I want to push my opponent as early as I can, so that I can actually divine on my turn 4.
Do you usually do that in Swiss rounds? Do you find yourself doing that rushing?
I find myself, yes, if I have the potential to rush, I will rush. And I will try to divine on turn 4. The cases that I have divine on turn 5 is when I miss out my, if I miss my Distorted Banes, so that requires me to go another turn, or by some instance I end up getting the divine.
Okay, yeah. Alright, that makes sense. So if no persona, this then means that this deck's power is like going to be like very
without the
iffy.
persona, it's very difficult. But I feel like that can be counteracted if you high roll in the sense that you manage to get all your Distorted Banes into the gauge. Which I find can be done on turn 4. Turn 4 you can get all gauge, which is all of this. And by doing that, you do hit for relatively even numbers.
Okay, yeah. So the very interesting insight. Okay, that's about it. Thank you very much, Daniel. Yeah. So it's kind of a bit of a bummer that you didn't get the top 8, but yes, this is his Liael Odium deck list, and so. If there's any questions, insights in the comment section, please feel free to down the comment section down below. So this is like basically we did talk about this prior to WGP, right? About like sharing lists, but I think like you view how you build the decks differently from my way of building things, and like the way of like my pattern of attacking is going to be like completely different. So yeah, that it's all cool and whatnot. So yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. Yeah, so thanks guys, this is it. This has been Professor Enoch and Daniel. So see you guys next time.